We're talking about Hayao Miyazaki as a science fiction writer today. That's what I'd like to discuss. So let's talk about the original version, in other words, the manga. Here I have the 3 volumes placed in front of me. You could call it the original version or the manga version of Nausicaa. How different is it from the anime version of Nausicaa? I've thought of various ways to explain this myself. If we consider the original version as history itself, then the anime version is kind of like the TV drama Sanadamaru. In other words, it's been condensed in an entertaining way, and maybe the content hasn't changed all that much, but just like how you can't really understand history by only watching Sanadamaru, it's the same with the anime version of Nausicaa. The anime is almost too well made for its own good, because it's so well done, the appeal of the original version. Everyone ends up feeling satisfied without ever knowing about it, and I think that's a bit of a shame. I do think it's a well-made film, even watching it now. The animation, the composition, everything about it was the best you could get for that era. Honestly, when it comes to Nausicaa, I think it's such a good anime that I could pause it every minute and give a detailed commentary. For example, there's that famous line, "clad in blue raiment," right? That too. Yes, that's right. In the anime version, Nausicaa is portrayed as a legendary figure, almost as if she was sent to help people. There's that scene where the old woman asks, "Tell us, in place of the great lord, about the one clad in blue." And she speaks of it almost like a curse, saying things like, she will descend upon the golden fields. That kind of thing. But in the original manga version, it's completely different. It's totally different. And as it gets close to the final scene, on the scorched earth, Nausicaa stands there after breaking open the egg that contained the last remnants of the hidden advanced human civilization known as the crypt, and she gets covered in its bodily fluids. Then, as the setting sun hits her, by pure coincidence, it just happens to look like she's standing in a golden field. What is she actually doing? It's really the twilight, the end of humanity? That's what he wrote. So it's not hopeful at all, but the viewers interpret it as hope. Probably the people around Nausicaa also see it as hope, and they see Nausicaa herself as a symbol of hope, but the future of humanity at that point is actually not hopeful at all. When Hayao Miyazaki wrote that 7th volume, he was in a pretty dark place. Or rather, it's amazing he was able to write something like that. Well, this story will also unfold slowly. Besides that, the giant god warriors in the anime are depicted as massive biological weapons, symbols of evil, and the ones who brought about the destruction of humanity during the so-called 7 Days of Fire. This appears both in the original manga and in the anime. In the anime, the 7 Days of Fire is portrayed as if humanity, having reached the peak of civilization, started killing each other and waged war, and then the giant god warriors destroyed the world in those 7 days. However, in the original manga, while there is a legend of the 7 Days of Fire, however, there are actually no depictions of humanity truly killing each other in war with giant god warriors or other massive weapons. That's just how the story has been passed down. In fact, about half of the legends in the original manga are misunderstandings or outright lies. So what probably really happened is that humanity didn't use such giant weapons, but rather, through chronic civil wars, they kept killing each other, and eventually the environment ended up completely polluted, and with small-scale civil wars and weapons for killing each other, the world became uninhabitable for humans, leading to their downfall. That's actually closer to the truth. As for the giant god warriors, you could say they were the ultimate weapons in that context. They were actually artificial intelligence judges. In the original story, they were created as judges equipped with AI. As judges, their role was to regulate the actions of others, and as for the so-called proton law that the giant god warriors possess, what it actually is a kind of restraining or suppressive weapon designed to stop even the strongest enemies, like saying, "Stop, don't come any closer." It's similar to a gun that a police officer might carry. Rather than being a weapon you use indiscriminately, it's more like a weapon that says, "If you come any closer, I'll shoot." That's how it was depicted in the manga. Yet, their very existence came to be despised, and before anyone realized it, they were blamed for the destruction of the earth. So, in that sense, there are a lot of unexpected elements to the story. According to the Ghibli book, when it came to that point, Hayao-san actually wanted the final scene of the movie version to be one where the Ohmu are approaching, and Nausicaa is just standing there. But Isao Takahata and Toshio Suzuki, the two of them together, said that won't work as a movie ending, and suggested, let's have her come back to life. So, they decided to revive her, but Hayao himself later said, in the end, that turned it into a religious film. However, thanks to making it a religious film, the anime version of Nausicaa became a huge hit. Even now, Miyazaki Hayao still regrets that everyone thinks of Nausicaa as that kind of story. He regrets making that kind of ending. He intended to depict humans, but at the very end, on a whim, he added a miracle. Because he was persuaded by Takahata Isao to include a miracle in the ending, he ended up making the kind of religious film he dislikes most. Everyone, when you think of Nausicaa, you think of that miraculous ending, right? You think Nausicaa's love saved the world, don't you? From Miyazaki Hayao's perspective, that's exactly why he said, I don't like it. That's the kind of heavy thudding nuance he feels about it.
岡田敏夫の YouTube を見てくれてありがとうございます。ぜひぜひチャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。ではではよろしく。